Sometimes it's like you cannot see eye to eye with your partner. You're arguing over the smallest things. You're disagreeing on whose turn it is to do what. You know, maybe you're putting a bit of effort in, trying where possible to have date night. Maybe you've made it out for dinner at a restaurant. You're enjoying a nice meal of coral trout served by obsequious waiters at a salubrious establishment. But then the topic of anti-disestablishmentarianism comes up and you're having another disagreement and the tension builds up, spills over yet again. Are you drifting apart? Is the love that you shared dying? Is it dead? Can anything be done to bring you back together again? Maybe therapy is the answer. So you start looking. You search couples therapy on the internet. What could possibly go wrong? And then ads start popping up, as they do when you start looking for things online. And you start seeing ads for something called marathon couples therapy. Marathon couples therapy. This is an intensive retreat that appears to promise to fix your relationship. So could this be it? Could this save your relationship? Should you book? Well, before you do, there are a few things you might like to consider. Cue Nahum Kozak, psychologist who specialises in couples therapy. Nahum, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Can I just get a sense first off, though, how busy are you as a couples therapist right now?
At this point in time, well, considering that it's normal for a relationship to struggle, and in normal times there are enough struggles, right now it's just all the extra stress that's around. We currently run off our feet.
Wow. At the moment, would there be much of a wait to try and get a booking with you or one of your colleagues?
There can be, at its worst, there was a 10-week wait to get in to see myself for traditional therapy, so an hour at a time, which is, part of the reason we're edging towards this other style of couples therapy.
This other style of couples therapy, marathon couples therapy, I believe is the term. Tell us about this kind of therapy. How is it different from what would otherwise happen?
Sure. So with traditional therapy, you'll see a therapist for a 50-minute to an hour period once a week usually, and on average be in therapy for between 3 and 5 months, a bit longer or shorter depending on the situation. Marathon therapy instead is based on the idea of massed practice. So the idea that you practice a skill in an intensive manner and you get better at it a lot faster. So marathon therapy is a 2-day retreat style, but still intensive therapy process.
2-day retreat style intensive therapy process.
It's a mouthful.
It sounds like hard work. I mean, what would those 2 days be like? Is it anything like the film Couples Therapy? Are you doing group yoga? What's going on?
I must be a failed couples therapist because I haven't seen the film Couples Therapy, so I don't know. But what I can tell you is that, so it's 2 days, so 6 hours in each day. Usually, so that's way too long to be in a clinic, so I don't do that at my usual practice at North Brisbane Psychologists in Albany, in Aspley. But instead, I typically work from Oaks Moncomo Hotel in Redcliffe, or a venue of the choice of the couple. So during those 2 days of 6 hours, it does sound intense, but it's actually a lot more sort of freeing and relaxing. So if you consider with normal therapy, in 50 minutes, you need to arrive, you need to settle, you need to remember where you were up to last time, and you also need to get into actually doing something. So even that 50 minutes, towards the end, you're like, oh, hang on, we've just hit the juicy part of the conversation. We're about to resolve something. And your therapist says, oh, look, we'll put a pin in it there. Oh. Remember where you're up to. We'll come back next week. You don't have that kind of a pressure with marathon because, of course, you can say, well, look, let's take a little bit of extra time here and then, go to the balcony, have a look at the waves for a while, come back when you've had a bit of a breather and we'll keep going. So it's a lot more actually relaxed and freeing.
Okay, we're going to take a look at some of the pitfalls of this type of couples therapy as well in a moment. 20 minutes past 2, you're on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. My name is Kat. You're with Nahum. We're talking about couples therapy because Nahum is a couples therapist. If you've got a question, by the way, for yourself or for your friend, you can, of course, remain anonymous. You could call through and ask Nahum a question about couples therapy. How does it work? Is it something that you've considered before? What does it cost? What do you get out of it? Any sort of procedural question, Nahum's more than happy to take them for you. So the phone number is 1300 222 612. That's 1300 222 612. If you've got a question about couples therapy or couples counselling, 1300 222 612. As you said, Nahum, under normal circumstances, relationships suffer strain and pressure. It can be usual to go to therapy, but at this point in time when we're dealing with unprecedented, situations, there is a lot more added stress and pressure on relationships. So given that psychologists are busy at the moment and there is a bit of a rise in this intensive form of couples therapy, perhaps as an alternative, it is important to be aware of maybe some of the downsides, the pitfalls, the risks. So walk us through the concerns that some psychologists have about this approach.
Certainly. So, a concern that I have is that, I suppose of this style, but of any kind of couples therapy, is that there are therapists, psychologists, not marriage counsellors, but social workers, etc., who have on their profile that they do couples therapy. And so I just really suggest that people actually check out the profiles of people they're considering as their couples therapist, because occasionally someone would say, oh, I do couples, and what they mean really is, I saw a couple once and it seemed to kind of go okay. I haven't had any training, but I reckon I could probably replicate those good results with someone else. And that, of course, is entirely unacceptable in my mind. So the first kind of tip, the first pitfall for people to look for, whether it's marathon or any other style of therapy, is has the person received training in a specific method of couples therapy? And there are a number of big names out there: emotion-focused couples therapy, Gottman method couple therapy. Just making sure that they have the words couple therapy and training together on a line, I reckon can help you really sort through. I'm really worried about shopping list psychologists. If you go onto their site and the list of things they do goes from addiction way at the top down to zoophobia right down at the bottom, that's a worrying sign, because someone can't have a specialty in all those different areas.
Okay. What about accreditation specifically? As you said, there's different types of therapy, the Gottman Gottman approach, for instance, and obviously you'd want to be looking for their accreditation with an organisation, a professional organisation. What other things do you keep an eye out for?
That's right. You can see if someone's accredited. I know, because I'm a Gottman trained therapist, so you can log on to the Gottman website and find a psychologist or a person of a different profession who is accredited in that methodology. So typically you have training level 1, 2, 3, and then certification. I suppose what you're looking for is someone who has done some training of some form, so at least level 1, possibly level 2 if you're looking at Gottman. And you also, I reckon you probably want to interview a couples therapist before you book in or sign up. And that might mean a phone call, or a phone call to their practice director. Usually a practice director can answer all these questions for you. Or even booking in for an initial consult, just to get the lay of the land. And you want to be asking questions like, what percentage of your load are couples? So if someone stumbles when answering that question, that's a bit of a pitfall, a bit of a worry. You want someone who has, clearly the more experience the better. So, if someone's load is a quarter couples, that's pretty good, or half, or something like that. A second thing you want to be asking is, do you receive supervision in this method? Because you don't want someone who did a workshop 3 years ago and hasn't done anything since.
Right.
And a third question I suppose you want to ask yourself is, do I like this person? If you don't like this person, it's going to be really uncomfortable when it gets to the stage that they're telling you a couple of home truths that you may not want to hear.
Yeah.
Much easier to take from someone that you like. So really checking out who the therapist is and what their qualifications are. It's a really important step.
Okay, some really useful advice there. ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, 25 minutes past 2. Psychologist Nahum Kozak is with you, specialises in couples therapy. We've got some messages coming through, Nahum. We might just begin with Gorgeous in Logan, who has a question about the need for interpreters. Gorgeous, g'day.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. What's your question for Nahum?
My background is a social worker within mental health, and quite often I only actually work with the cold community. So I'm just seeking to understand if at some stage we could be introducing interpreters through to this. I think this program is amazing, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Nahum?
Oh, kia ora, Gorgeous. I have to say the answer from me is I don't know. Sorry about that.
Right.
Yeah, I have worked with interpreters in the past, but not in my couples therapy career. But it certainly sounds like an intriguing and valuable idea, and there might be a couples therapist listening who has some experience who might be able to give us a call.
Yeah, if that's you, call now, 1300 222 612. Gorgeous, we might pop you on hold because I'd be interested to have a bit of a chat with you and get to understand your work a little better because it sounds really important.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Gorgeous in Logan on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. Nahum Kozak is with you, 25 past 2. I'm Kat. So let's return to the idea of what you expect to achieve from couples therapy, but specifically this intensive marathon style that we're hearing about, where you're working intensely for 6 hours a day for a couple of days. What is a reasonable expectation? You walk in with problems, you walk out cured?
Well, that would be magic, which I don't do. But I think with any type of couples therapy, and marathons included, what you want is to assist the couple. Well, first of all, you want a thorough assessment process. So just because marathon therapy takes place, like the therapy part takes place in 2 days, but in the lead up to that, like couples each complete a survey. This one's the Gottman Relationship Health Checkup. It is a ridiculously long survey. It has 480 items on it, and I know, but it is tick and flick, so it takes people an hour to do if they go through quickly, or 3 hours if they choose to go slowly and agonisingly, but I always recommend people just go with their gut. But it's actually doing the survey itself can be a really affirming process for couples because they'll go through and they'll be like, oh, domestic violence, we don't have that. And alcohol abuse, oh, we might have that, I don't know. And they go through and go, gee, it turns out things aren't as bad as we thought. We can't believe other couples have, X range of problems. But that survey gets me to a level of understanding of the relationship that would normally take about 5 hours of talking to get to. So there's one of the time savers right there, is in doing a really thorough assessment process. And of course, not everyone is recommended for marathon therapy. So if something comes up in there that's really concerning, there are some existing mental health conditions that would mean, oh, look, it's better that they get some individual help first. I'd be redirecting people at that stage.
Okay.
But to answer your question about what can they come away with, 2 days is a really reasonable time frame within which to learn the skills of conflict resolution on your own, like learning how to do it so that you're not then reliant on a therapist like for the rest of your life, but learning the skills for yourself.
Nahum, we'll leave it there for this afternoon. Really good to hear from you. Some ideas to think around, mull over, talk with your partner about, and we look forward to catching up with you again in a few weeks' time.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Nahum Kozak, a psychologist with North Brisbane Psychologists, talking with you about couples therapy, particularly an intensive form known as marathon couples therapy. ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. Of course, if you've got any particular concerns, a need to make any drastic changes, make sure you consult your own medical professional or supervising psychologist.